Level 1. The intern. You are 19 years old with one suitcase, one laptop, and a bank account that's screaming for help. You're crashing on your friend's couch that smells like instant ramen and broken dreams, scrolling through Twitter at 2 a.m. looking at startup founders posting pictures from rooftop parties and announcing funding rounds like they just discovered penicillin. You accept an unpaid internship at an AI startup that promises equity, exposure, and unlimited Red Bull. Your job is to fix bugs nobody notices, fetch coffee for people who won't learn your name, and sprint to Chipotle while everyone else debates the future of technology. You are functionally invisible. To them, you're basically a laptop that can walk. You are being evaluated every second through side glances and Slack messages that appear and disappear. Ask about money too soon and you're gone. They'll say they're pivoting the team structure, which is startup code for you're fired. If this company dies tomorrow, you get nothing. No severance, just a weird gap on your resume. Then one night at 11 p.m., the investor demo breaks. Everyone panics. You stay up until 4 a.m., fix it, and don't tell anyone. Next morning they say, "Wow, lucky that fixed itself." You sit there quietly, knowing exactly who got lucky. Level 2. Junior engineer. You survived and now they're actually paying you, though not enough to stop crying about rent. Your new title, AI engineer, looks great on LinkedIn. Your mom sends it to the family group chat where your uncle asks what AI stands for. Your entire existence revolves around the sprint board that feels like a personal attack by Wednesday. You're building chatbots that insult users, fighting code written by someone who clearly hated themselves, and Googling, "Why isn't this working?" 40 times a day. You stay late because everyone else does. You say it's passion. It's actually fear. Here's the thing, you don't own what you build or decide what gets built. Your paycheck covers rent, groceries, and maybe one therapy session monthly. Everything else is equity, which is fancy monopoly money that might be worth something if 17 unlikely things happen in the right order. Google recruiters offer you $300,000. You stare at it like ancient hieroglyphics, close the message, and whisper, "I'm here for the equity." You know it's a lie. The risk? You're deploying at midnight. When the app crashes during investor demos, the postmortem says, "Engineering error." That's you? If you quit tomorrow, they'll post your job Monday. If you stay and grind yourself to dust, this company might not exist long enough to matter. Level 3. Mid-level engineer. You've been here 2 years, which in startup time is a geological epoch. You've survived 2 product pivots, 4 tech stack changes, and 1 apocalyptic server crash that almost killed the company. When the site went down during the biggest launch, everyone lost it. The CEO recorded himself saying, "Oh my God!" on repeat. You just opened your laptop, fixed it, and went back to bed. Now you get ownership, which means you own entire systems and everything that breaks at 3 a.m. on Saturday. New junior engineers hover around your desk like anxious puppies. You've become their Google, therapist, and Stack Overflow combined. You catch yourself saying, "Did you check the logs?" and realize you've become the person you used to fear. This is the most dangerous level. You're too good to ignore but not important enough to be protected. Big Tech offers you $350,000. Your startup can't match it, so they pay you in feelings instead. Your family. We're 6 months from profitability, maybe 8, definitely soon. They monitor your LinkedIn obsessively. One sarcastic Slack message, one screenshot of you venting, and suddenly you're not a culture fit anymore. Then your manager says dress nice tomorrow. You're presenting to the board. Way less scary than getting fired. Definitely. Level 4. Tech lead. You walk into the glass conference room where investors in $800 hoodies sit wearing identical spotless sneakers. Your CEO hasn't slept in days, but he's smiling. He points at you and says, "This is the engineer who built everything." 20 pairs of eyes lock onto you. None of them care if your code is elegant. They care if you can sound impressive at dinner parties. You run a small team who copies everything you do, including how you say, logging off at 6 p.m. then quietly log back in at 9. They're learning all your worst habits. Your job completely changed and nobody told you. You're not paid to write the most code anymore. You're paid to make sure others can code without deleting the production database. Product managers give you impossible timelines. "Can we ship this in 2 weeks?" You know it takes 2 months. You smile and say, "Let me see what we can do." Then go perform miracles without having a breakdown. You've become a translator. The CEO says, add AI to everything. You translate that to, add one simple chatbot. Customer support screams. Customers are furious. You translate to, bug in checkout, patch in 30 minutes. You're doing two jobs, building things and teaching people while stopping them from catastrophically bad decisions. When juniors break production, your phone rings at 2 a.m. When deadlines slip, your name tops the email thread. Your title went up. Your stress went up. Your sleep went way, way down. Level 5. Principal Engineer. You've escaped the ticket treadmill because now every problem you solve affects the entire company's future. You don't argue about variable names anymore. You argue about whether the foundation will collapse in 6 months. When one service crashes, people ask, who deployed? When everything falls apart, they ask, where's principal? That's you now. You design how all the pieces fit together, drawing huge diagrams that look like conspiracy boards, then turn them into something the team can build without existential crises. You decide which problems get fixed now, and which get kicked down the road like credit card debt. You think in years. Everyone else thinks in 2-week sprints. This gap makes you feel insane. Here's the paradox. The higher you climb, the fewer people understand what you do. Juniors whisper, don't bother principal, you'll get a 90-minute lecture about database sharding. Managers treat you like a priceless museum artifact. Incredibly valuable, extremely fragile, don't move it. The CEO asks, will this explode? You say, it depends, and watch hope drain from his face in real time. If you design wrong, the company doesn't lose days. It loses years. Maybe its entire chance of surviving. You're deeply respected. Absolutely essential. And one restructuring away from being too expensive for our new direction. You finally have the power you wanted. You just didn't know it would feel this heavy. Level 6. Acting CTO. One Monday, the CTO's calendar is empty. His face vanishes from the org chart. Official story, pursuing other opportunities. Real story, nobody makes eye contact when you ask. The CEO says, can you run engineering for a bit? Just temporary. You say yes. You think it's a promotion. It's an audition. Overnight, everything becomes yours. Hiring, firing, budgets, timelines. You're running engineering, but the title says acting, which means temporary, replaceable, conditional. If shipping slows, your fault. If costs spike, your fault. If anything breaks loud enough for investors to notice, extremely your fault. But here's the trap. If everything suddenly goes well, if morale improves and releases stabilize, now you're too visible. Now you're creating tension. People wonder if you're trying to take over. You're walking the world's thinnest tightrope. Be good enough that things don't collapse, but not so good you look like a threat. One side is burnout. The other is getting quietly replaced. You finally understand the real job. Less. Fix the code. More. Fix the people. Your most used message is, we're on it. You send it 12 times daily. It buys time to figure out what's actually happening. Level 7. CTO. The word acting disappears. You're the real CTO now. Recruiters who ignored you 3 years ago are suddenly your best friends. You're the head of engineering, the name that gets dropped in investor meetings. You don't write code in public anymore because if you open your editor, someone screenshots it and posts, look, CTO still codes. It's weird. You hate it. Your calendar is an endless wall of back-to-back rectangles called sync and alignment. You measure your life in Zoom links now. Your real work happens after everyone logs off. That's when you stare at dashboards, error rates, server costs, the burn rate that makes your stomach hurt. You quietly rearrange the roadmap to match whatever insane promise the CEO made on stage to people who write large checks. The CEO says, we'll ship that next quarter. You gently suggest, maybe we should discuss timeline. You protect engineers from drive-by feature requests. You protect the CEO from knowing how close to disaster you actually are. When infrastructure breaks, nobody remembers who deployed the bad code. They remember you. You're the CTO. The buck stops at your Slack handle. You sit at the leadership table, but your power is rented. It renews quarterly based on whether the CEO trusts you. If that trust breaks, your badge stops working. You made it to the top of the technical ladder. You just never get to do the thing that made you want to climb it. Level 8. CO. You're not just running engineering anymore. You're running how the entire company operates. If the CO is the billboard face, you're the steel frame holding it up. Every problem eventually lands on your desk. Sales missed their number? You fix it. Marketing burned half their budget in 6 weeks? You fix it. Engineering is behind schedule? Also you. You speak fluent spreadsheet now. You translate chaos into headcount plans, budget cuts, and awkward conversations. You walk into rooms where everyone's yelling. You walk out with a plan nobody loves but everyone can survive. When lawyers send official correspondence, they send it to you. When a bug becomes a PR nightmare, you're on the damage control call, voice comm, promising it won't happen again while internally screaming. The CEO promises the moon on stage. You stand backstage doing math. That needs 40 people, 8 months, and 3 miracles. Cool. Everyone knows you're next in line. Which means ambitious VPs watch you like hawks. You must look ready to run the company but never look like you want to. You're the second most powerful person here. Good days feel like steering a small country. Bad days feel like being a janitor in a burning building. Level 9. The founder CEO. You remember the beginning. Terrible coffee. Borrowed Wi-Fi. A pitch deck better than the actual product. Just you, one crazy idea, and a belief you could make it work. Now you sit at a table so long you need binoculars to see the other end. Hundreds of people log in every morning because you said words into a microphone once. That thought keeps you awake. You don't touch code or tickets anymore. You touch decisions. You say yes, and teams get hired. You say no, and months of work get deleted. You whisper, cut costs, and people who move across the country get a calendar invite called quick chat. When things go well, you're a genius. Podcasts want to interview you. When things go badly, everyone remembers every risky decision was your idea. Investors want growth. Employees want stability. Customers want features. Regulators want answers. Everyone wants something different. You can't give them all what they want, but you have to act like you can. There's no off switch. You wake to news alerts about your company. You fall asleep replaying decisions from months ago, wondering when things started breaking. There's no guaranteed happy ending. Best case, you sell and ring a bell. Or you get replaced and publications analyze what went wrong. Or it collapses and you become a cautionary tale in MBA programs. This is the top. The view is incredible. The fall is fatal. You didn't just choose this for yourself. You convinced others to jump in. Now you're responsible for all of them while everything burns. You take a breath. Look at the dashboard. Look at the faces of people who believed you. Look at the future you promised out loud. Then, like every day since that tiny apartment, you make the call. This is the life you chose.